Hey everyone, welcome back. Before we start, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell. Today's story is called The Billionaire Bride Who Faked Her Death to Expose Her Husband's Secret. It's shocking, emotional, and full of twists. Trust me, you'll want to watch till the very end. They said we had it all: wealth, love, respect. Everyone envied us. But behind the smiles, my perfect life was slowly falling apart. I'm Angela, 27 years old, married to Edward Okoro, a billionaire businessman who everyone admired. You know the type: sharp suits, charming smile, perfect posture, and enough money to buy half the city if he wanted. I know what you're thinking. Wow, perfect life. Yeah, at least it looked perfect. Our mansion was everything people dream about: marble floors, a fountain in the garden, a private cinema, and a swimming pool that sparkled even at night. Cars lined up in the garage like trophies, and every weekend we hosted lavish parties where the city's elite would come to see and be seen. And people loved us. Well, they loved what we looked like on the outside. They never saw the cracks. Edward and I were supposed to be the perfect couple, admired by everyone. And on the surface, we were. I would walk into a room with him and people would stare. Whispers of power couple, in love, envy. It felt nice at first. But even in paradise, there are shadows. It started with little things I couldn't ignore. His late-night calls. He'd leave the bedroom with his phone under his arm, come back hours later and shrug when I asked. "Business calls," he'd say. I nodded, pretending to believe him. Yeah, because nothing screams trustworthy like hiding a phone in your tuxedo pocket at midnight. Then there were the trips. Business trips that popped up suddenly. Flights I didn't even know about, meetings with important clients that never seemed to exist. And perfume? Oh, God, the perfume. I'd noticed scents on his clothes that weren't mine. Sweet, floral, expensive, and definitely not his cologne. At first, I tried to tell myself it was paranoia. "Angela, relax," I said to myself. "He's rich, busy, stressed. It's nothing." But deep down, I felt that cold, gnawing doubt. And little lies. Small ones, but noticeable if you paid attention. He would say he was in the office until late, but I'd find receipts for fancy dinners. He claimed to be with clients, but neighbors would say, "I saw Edward leaving the spa at 11 p.m. I know, right? At first, I even laughed at myself for worrying. "You're imagining things," I'd say. But the truth is, the cracks kept getting bigger, and I started noticing things I could no longer ignore. Every morning, I'd wake up in our king-sized bed, Edward beside me, looking peaceful and charming, and I'd feel this strange mixture of love, fear, and suspicion. That perfect life, it was starting to feel like a trap. And that's when I realized appearances could be deceiving. What everyone saw as perfect might be a lie. You know that feeling when something just doesn't sit right in your stomach? That uneasy, gnawing sensation that something is off? That's exactly how I felt one night. It was around midnight when it all started to hit me. Edward had gone to the office again, his usual excuse for disappearing for hours. But this time, something felt different. I was lying in our bed, staring at the ceiling, counting the seconds, feeling my heart thump harder with every tick of the clock. I had started noticing patterns, little details I had brushed off before, like how his phone never left his hand when he was texting late at night.
or how he laughed softly to himself in the living room while pretending to be on a call.
I know it sounds paranoid. Even I thought I was overthinking. But you know what they say, your gut doesn't lie. So I started paying attention. Not in a stalkerish way. At least I tried not to. I simply watched. And the more I watched, the more I realized the perfect life I lived in was only a mask. One night, I caught him on the balcony, whispering to someone on the phone. He didn't notice me standing behind the sliding door. I couldn't hear everything, but I caught a few words that made my stomach twist. I miss you. When will she finally leave you? My hands froze. I wanted to throw the door open, confront him, scream, anything. But I didn't. I just stood there, silent, trying to process it. The next day, I tried to act normal. Breakfast, small talk, fake smiles. He kissed me goodbye like nothing happened, and for a moment, I almost believed I had imagined it. Almost. But the doubt lingered. It started to creep into everything I did. When he called me from the office, I would peek at the clock and think, is he really there or somewhere else? With her. And then the little signs became bigger. Perfume stains on his shirts, receipts for fancy dinners in neighborhoods I didn't know. He laughed too easily when I asked simple questions, avoided eye contact, and sometimes he would smile at me in a way that made my skin crawl. I tried to tell myself it wasn't real. Angela, I whispered to myself one night, you're just imagining things. He loves you. But the gnawing doubt refused to leave. By the end of that week, I knew I could no longer ignore the truth. Something was happening behind my back, and whatever it wasn't small. Yeah, I was married to a billionaire, living in a mansion, and yet I couldn't trust the man lying next to me every night. Isn't that ironic? Little did I know, this was just the start, the first hint of betrayal, and it was about to hit me like a storm I could never have prepared for. Have you ever stumbled upon something so shocking that your world stops for a moment? That's exactly what happened to me one night, and nothing was ever the same again. It was a quiet Thursday night. Edward had gone out for a late meeting, same excuse as always. I sat in our massive living room, the chandelier casting shadows across the walls. Something told me I couldn't wait any longer. I had to know the truth. I grabbed his phone from the desk. Yes, I know, not the most ethical move, but at that moment, I didn't care about ethics. I cared about surviving my life, my sanity. And then I saw it. The first message made my heart skip. Can't wait to see you tonight. Are you sure she suspects nothing? I froze. My breath caught. My hands were shaking so badly that I dropped the phone onto the plush carpet. I picked it up again, and then the messages kept coming. Hundreds of texts, secret calls, emails, not just flirting, full-blown plans. Plans that made my stomach twist. Edward wasn't just cheating, he was planning something that I couldn't yet understand. I sank onto the couch, heart hammering, staring at the screen. I laughed, bitterly, nervously. This is insane. He's insane. But deep down, I knew this wasn't just about a woman. Something bigger was happening. Something darker. I started reading more carefully. Life insurance policies, accounts in my name that I had never authorized, money transfers, and then, the worst part, mentions of a final step, documents and schedules that included my travel, my routines, my life. My chest tightened. That's when it hit me. Edward wasn't planning to leave me. He was planning to get rid of me. I felt frozen. I wanted to scream. I wanted to run, but I had nowhere to go. This wasn't just betrayal. This was a threat. I spent the entire night digging deeper, trying to understand. I uncovered everything: the hidden accounts, the secret meetings, the accomplices. Yes, he had people helping him, people I had trusted. Every message, every email, every little lie started connecting like pieces of a puzzle. And all this time, I had been laughing at myself, thinking I was imagining things. By morning, I realized I had to act. I couldn't confront him yet. He was too dangerous. I couldn't run, not without a plan, and I certainly couldn't let him see that I knew. But one thing was certain: the perfect husband I married, he didn't exist. And the perfect life I thought I had, gone. That's when I started thinking about the impossible, the unthinkable. How could I expose him? How could I survive? Little did Edward know, his biggest mistake was underestimating me.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to NEB'S Storytales for more captivating tales. Hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. See you in the next story.